Hello. Monday morning. Whatever day it is for you, welcome to the podcast. As always, this is a walking podcast, so you should be walking as you're listening. For those that are new here, I'm Ricky, and I am a podcaster, a speaker, a creator, a mentor, and I help people take steps forward in their life, in their day, heal internally, and walk away from weed. That's actually the first time I've ever done an intro like that. It's taken me a really long time to find what I really do and to lean into it. And so I'm not introducing myself just to tell you what I do. I want you to know that it takes time to find who you are. It takes trial and error. And for me, it's taken a really long time. And there are things that I've done in my life that have kept me standing still. And then there are things that I've done in my life that have really moved me forward. And I feel so proud to be where I'm at now. But I want you to know that it didn't just happen for me. And I want to talk about a few things for this episode. I want to talk about just the things that have been going on in my life and where I'm at emotionally and where I'm at mentally. And then, how we can keep continuing to move through this journey of transformation, even when we have setbacks. And so if you're struggling right now or you're making positive steps forward, but you find yourself reliving old stories, this is a really good episode for you. As always, please walk as you listen. Thank you for cooperating. Okay, so first things first, today marks 1 month in California. Go, Ricky. That's awesome. I think anything that we do in our lives that is big and brave, we should compliment and be proud of ourselves for. Also, we are over 20K downloads on the podcast. Super, super proud of that too. Thank you. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. That's not why you're here. Also, the Walking Away from Weed program is growing. And so whoever you are and wherever you are, the community, the podcast, the program, things are growing and I'm so grateful. And I just wanted to thank you really quickly. It's been an interesting month for me, to be honest with you. It's actually been an interesting couple months. I've done all these really great things, and it will be 7 months, too, until I've walking away from weed. Maybe you've started your journey. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you're a weekend. Maybe you've fallen off track. And I have found it's been an interesting month for me for a couple of reasons. Okay, I'm just going to go right into it. So for most of my life, I had a really bad eating disorder. And I would say that in the last 6 years, I've really moved forward from it. I mean, I used to coach people to lose weight and to break the weight in their life mentally, physically, emotionally. And I've definitely cultivated a good relationship with food and my body over the last few years. And, I've got to be honest with you. When I was smoking all the time and I was living in, and maybe you'll be able to relate to this, I was living in trauma. I was really living in survivor mode for most of my life. From when I lost my mom until I was 33 years old. It's in some variation, right? Like high anxiety, or either I was high anxiety or I was depressed or I was high or I was doing this or I was doing that. And, my body and my brain never really existed in the in-between. And this is the first time in my life where I'm existing in the in-between. And I have found old stories starting to come up for me. Me being a little more particular about the way that I look, me feeling a little more uncomfortable in my skin, physically, not emotionally, and it's kind of fucking with me. And I wanted to talk about it because I don't look at it necessarily as a step back for me, because where I'm at now is so incredible. And for you too, whatever steps you've taken forward, I look at it as an opportunity to learn and to know that we can have all of these steps forward and we can walk away from weed and we can move across the country and we can change our lives and we can still have unhealed wounds. And that's okay. The other day I was sitting in my apartment and I was looking at my body and I was being critical. And, because my body and my mind aren't existing in high anxiety more, I had to be a little more intentional with the decisions that I'm making and physically and what I'm putting into my body. And I'm not burning through things as quick, which is really a good thing because you don't want to live like that, right? But that's just how I've lived for so long. So I'm just used to not having to worry about my body because I had an eating disorder for so long, and then I was living in high anxiety and I was high all the time. So I never had to worry about it. And now I don't have a lot of worries. And that's kind of scary. Like sometimes I'm like, what? And it's like, you just get so used to living in one way that you're uncomfortable to live another way. And I was sitting in my apartment the other day and I was like, not feeling so great about myself. I wasn't feeling good about my body. Wasn't feeling good. And I remember thinking like, this sucks. Like, I don't like feeling like this is such a familiar feeling for me. And then I remember thinking, but it's not, because I'm not smoking. How I'm dealing with the familiar feeling is different. And that's the most important thing that I think people forget. It's like, it's not, do we get rid of every old story and every old pattern? It's, can we understand it and can we move through it without doing the thing that we used to do? And I sat in the discomfort and I was like, this sucks. This sucks. And then I was like, this sucks and I'm fucking strong. Like, this sucks and my life is great. Like, this sucks and I'm almost 7 months clean. Like, this sucks and I have a top podcast and I'm coaching people to walk away from weed, and like all the things that I've wanted in my life, they're happening. And I think we think that we have to like have it all at once for it to be great, and it doesn't work like that. And I just wanted to talk about it because I don't know, it's been kind of messing with my head. Like, I'm doing all these amazing things. Maybe you can relate. And like, there are certain parts of my life, like, it's really just physically, to be quite honest with you, that I'm feeling like a little down. And it's just like, it's okay. Like, it really is okay. Because if I make a list of all the amazing things in my life, if you make a list of all the positive things that you've done, you have to pay attention to that list. And sometimes we let our old stories come in. And we think it's better to go back, right? Like, maybe it'd be easier if my body was in high anxiety, that I would have to worry about this, right? But like, why the fuck would that be easier? My life was shit before. And so it's not to make you feel bad about where you're at in your journey. Like, I might be a couple steps ahead of you, but I want you to know that when you get to the place that I'm at, when you're off weed for a while, when you've taken steps forward in your life, just know that old stuff might come up, and it's okay. And it's how you deal with it that matters. And so for me, it's like, I look at this and I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity to like heal something that's been unhealed that you haven't really had an opportunity to take care of yet, because I've been so anxious and I've been so high and caught up in my own shit that I haven't had an opportunity to heal certain wounds. And now I do. And just like I embraced what it would feel like to heal my relationship with marijuana, I have to embrace this part of the journey. And I'm trying to. And I think we need to be more forgiving of the process. Like, you can be taking all these steps forward and there might be a few steps that like you trip and you fall, and it's like, okay, this is just an opportunity to learn. And so it is really important, because I've been beating myself up and I've been upset about being upset about this thing that I thought that I didn't care about anymore. And it's like, the truth is I always cared about it. I just didn't have to deal with it because I was dealing with so much other trauma. It's like your body and your brain will make a list of all of the traumas, and they'll put the ones that are most important first. And so I had to just like survive my life for a while before I could deal with this. And you know, it's interesting to me. And so I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it in case you feel like you're healing a bunch of things, but there are things that keep coming up for you. Like, it's okay. It's okay. As long as you're not using the unhealthy outlet that you were using before to deal with it, I think it's okay. No, I know that it's okay. And so maybe you can relate to that. And, you know, I was also thinking the other day, like, I've been in here in LA for a month and so many incredible things have happened. And then there are also things that I really want to work on. And that's okay too, right? Like, I've improved so much in my life, and there are also things that I need to improve on. And so it's this never-ending journey for me, for you, for all of us. And I look at it like, as long as my list of positives are longer than my list of negatives, like, I'm all right. And don't let your brain trick you to believe that you can't be happy, or that a shitty week means that things are getting shitty again, or that you have to exist in like high anxiety, like to exist, you really don't. So I'm going to normalize taking 1 million steps forward and then feeling like you took 2 backwards, and still tell you that you're still transforming your life. And that if it still triggers you and you still get anxious about it, it's just an opportunity for you to learn more about why. It's not an opportunity for you to go get high. It's not an opportunity for you to look yourself in the mirror and be like, fuck, I'm this, I'm that. It's just an opportunity for you to be like, oh, I'm not feeling so comfortable in my body right now. Like, oh, I'm kind of lonely. Oh, I noticed that this thought came up. It's not, I noticed these things and let me get high or let me do something destructive. It's just like, hey, I noticed these things. And I'm gonna sit with them. And I'm going to try to understand them. And I'm going to work my ass off to heal them, but I'm not going to rush the process, because maybe this is just part of the process. So remember that when you take something out of your life, other things will come up. And that's really okay. And I'm sort of telling myself that right now. Like, I'm telling you that, but I'm really telling myself that, because like that's what we have to do. We have to parent ourselves. Every time I talk in this podcast, I'm usually working something out in my head. Like, I'm speaking always from like a leadership position, but like leaders, they have to lead, and to lead first is to work something out. And so I'm always working something out. And like right now I'm struggling a little bit with feeling comfortable in my body, and like old shit's coming up, and I have to talk about it, and I have to work through it, because I don't have my old coping skills, which would be just to like get high and ignore it. So I'm here, I'm doing the work, and the work, it makes me sad that I feel this way right now. But I'm not even remotely close to where I used to be. And that makes me fucking happy. So be kind to yourself as your body and your brain readjust. Let's say you just walked away from weed and you're feeling all these different things, and you don't really know how you're supposed to feel because you're operating in a different state of mind now. Be gentle with yourself. I mean, you had to just survive your life for a while. Now you have to live your life, and sometimes surviving your life feels easier, but it's not. So be gentle with yourself. Don't be so black and white. Just because you've healed one story doesn't mean you've healed them all. Just because you've taken 1 million steps forward doesn't mean that you won't take a step backwards. And just because you walked away from weed doesn't mean every single thing falls into place right away. Give time. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be nice to myself. I'm going to look at a wound, or I'm going to look at a thought, and instead of being judgmental, I'm going to say, hey, okay, what is this? Can I make some changes? Is this old? Is this unhealed? Is this just my ego or my fear keeping me in a place? And I don't need to know the answer right away. But I know if I keep asking myself, if you keep asking yourself the right questions with no judgment and no rush to find the answers will come. As long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other and you don't numb yourself, the answers will come. They always do. So that's where I'm at. And I hope you had a good walk. And I also wanted to let you know that if you're listening to this and you're looking to walk away from weed and heal internally, the next program is April 19th, Walking Away from Weed, April 19th to the 21st. It's 3 incredible days, and spots are filling up and space is limited. I'm not just saying that to sound cool, because it's like not that cool, but it's cool if you join, because you're going to love it and you don't have to struggle on your own. And everyone needs a step one. And so whether you've walked away already, whether you haven't, whether you've taken a step backwards, whether you're a month in, like, join the community. Put yourself in a room with people that are a couple steps ahead of you. You can reach out to me on DM, Instagram, or on TikTok. You can go to my link in my bio. You can sign up. We start April 19th, and doors will be closing soon. So be kind to yourself. Put one foot in front of the other. Drink some water. And just trust the journey and be on it. Everything that comes up with it. All right, I'll see you guys next Monday.